Hello everyone and welcome to the SOR round 14 here at the Singapore Grand Prix. Very interesting track, lots of tight corners that if heavily locking up you will go into the wall. Basically, as a lot of people call it, Monaco 2.0, but only better. Well, no, it's not better. It's they're both pretty demanding tracks, pace-wise and driving style-wise. It's going to be a whoops, sorry guys. Okay, it's going to be a very interesting race. I think it's going to be something that we're going to enjoy, especially you guys and myself. Currently the leader of the championship is this man here, Ruthful, with 292 points, I believe, and who is quite ways in front of his teammate, who is in second place, I do believe. Gonna be lots of twists and turns, so here we go. Ruthful will stay on board with him here, staying in 7th gear, go down to 3rd gear to get that extra rotation, as the man himself says. Going in through turn 3, ooh, losing the back end there, that will cost him a few tenths, but then again, he is on the hard compound tire, so it doesn't really matter too much here. You want to take a late apex going into this corner. He does that quite nicely, actually, heading through the first DRS straight here into heavy braking zone, heading into 3rd gear and up to 4th. Really quickly quip shifting here, 5th down to 2nd, or even 1st actually, as he does. Going and using as much of the track as possible. Avoid that curb as much as possible because it will unsettle your car and will cost you a few tenths. So heading through the old Singapore sling. Sorry for the revving, but here I'd keep it in 4th gear to get that extra engine braking. But 5th gear is also good. Heading to here, keep it in 6th gear, heading down to 2nd, and quickly up to 3rd. Use as much of the track as possible. That doesn't really count as track limits, although in the race it does. Here, he didn't really use too much of the first curb. He went quite passive when it comes to that corner. So heading through the final few corners now. Here, use as much of the curb as possible, which he does, and there I think he used just about all the track you possibly could. Heading through the final corner now, it's going to be it was invalidated. Oh no, it was just very much delayed. He set a 1:37.5, which on the hard compound tires is a pretty good lap, not going to lie. And second place we have Pixel with a 1:38.2, and actually Hazy has completely destroyed his Ruthful's time with a 1:36.8, which is almost as fast as what the medium runners would be doing. Going down is new teammate R3 after I believe Vessel moved to Williams. I'm not too sure. Going down, yeah, no, Vessel moved to Williams, I do believe. Pixel, as I said, and then the Inaudible Gamer with a 38.4, GC Fungus with a 38.7, and then Maple, who just set a lap with a 1:38.9, and then KK Hunter, who just set a lap as well, 1:40.2. Actually, WoW puts it up into 3rd place with that 1:37.6. Cosmin sitting a 1:30. Ooh, and that's actually a Williams in the wall. That's Maple, who has actually left the session. Potential crash, I don't know. But there are quite a few soft runners. Or they might just be on the softs and in the pit lane. That's what I can really tell. Just seeing the wheels underneath the Mercedes is so derpy. I love it. Seeing the wheels under the cars is quite derpy in itself. yeah, so we do have two self runners. So these two, the McLaren and Yasin, who's opted to go on the soft compact tires, it will get them ahead, but the tires won't last long. They would last, I'd say, 4 or 5 laps, and then you would have to box again. And already it's quite difficult to do the one stop with a mediums to hards, and you're boxing much later on the mediums, as Yasin completely cuts that corner. Yeah, going on the hards I don't think will be good, unless if you can manage to make them stick to the end, which is 100% doable. The only issue is that you will be losing a lot of time and you won't be quick towards the end. So maybe we'll see a 2-stop to softs, mediums, or soft, medium, softs. But if there is a safety car somewhere in this race, it will go into action with the soft runners. Because if he boxes for the hards, let's say after, and there's like a safety car just 10 laps prior to the end, he can go on the mediums and do his lap then. So we'll stay on board with the Essen for this lap. We'll stay on the broadcast camera. Oh, he loses the back end completely there, going wide. That will be his lap over, and we will go to the other soft runner instead of J Piffy 30. We encountered some traffic, and actually that is Yasin. He did go in a bit deep, J Piffy. He didn't use as much a track on the inside line as he would have liked to. He encountered some traffic there. I believe that was Panic Boy. I'm not sure though, correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't know if it's a wet race or a dry race or a mix of both, but we will having a part. Seems to be a pretty tidy lap from J Piffy so far. Heading through the final quarter now. He sets a 1 minute 35.908, which is arguably a really good lap. There are some issues. Just 1 second. Let me close this. Alright, here we go. That should be a bit better. So we'll go down the order. Ruthful is actually on another hard lap. He's 2/10 quicker because of that spin he had at the first sectors. So Ruthful will opt to go on the medium compound tires, or if he sets a good time on these hards, I'd say he'll start on the hards, because hards to mediums is a ooh, he almost hits that death barrier there. That would have cost him his wheel. He goes in deep there and actually loses the back end, forcing him to counter steer. Could have used a bit more curb there and there as well. He hasn't took the straightest line possible. Here once again avoiding the curb, and again avoiding the curb as well. Will he avoid the curb here? No, he uses quite a big chunk of curb there and there, so both curbs really nicely taken. If you can do that for the 3 curbs behind, that would be a big improvement. But he comes across the line to set a 1:37.5, which is a 0.05 of a second quicker than his old lap, which to be fair is not as good as you think it was, considering he was 2/10 up on his time at the first sector. I think he lost a lot of time at the second sector there, especially when he lost the back end. So going down the field, we have someone who, KK Hunter, who is opted to go on the soft combat tires. and Pandakoi the first medium runner. Actually, no, pardon me. Almighty is actually on a cuts the corner, so I'd say his lap is over. Who is on? Okay, I believe Cosman's on a lap. Yes, he is in hot lap mode, so Cosman is on a lap. Very nice angle there from the top. Heading through the old Singapore sling. You can see the old tire marks there from the drivers who have spun from the years and continue straight on into the wall. Good thing they changed it there. Singapore is a very challenging circuit for all the right and wrong reasons. Because, you know, if you're pushed out that extra much wide, that could be you into the wall. And if you go deep into a corner, that could be a high chance of you going into the wall. And the pit entry, though, is very lethal when it comes to the penalties. Because if you do cut that pit entry, it will give you a 5-second time penalty. Trust me, I know from past experience. It got served in the pit lane, so I couldn't really report it afterwards. So I lost time for nothing really. But coming across the line, Cosman on the medium compound tires is in P4 with a 137.3, which isn't the best of lap times considering the two people ahead of him set laps on the hard compound tires. And I think he could maybe be able to extract a bit more if he were to go for another lap afterwards. But you only have, no matter what. Oh, Cosman has retired from the session. He's rammed himself off. So, not, I guess, the best way of getting out. But I'd say Ruthful will be setting a medium time, and so is teammate, who's both set 2 laps on those hard cover tires. So R3 now, with time on his side. By the time he gets out again, I'd say it'll be 250-ish. So I'd say in the next 2 minutes you should see him out and about. So is anyone on a lap on the mediums? I believe Pandakoi is on a lap. Yes, he is. The same area as where we saw Cosman starting his lap time. Yes, and puts it in P1 with a provisional pole position of a 1 minute 35.612. Quite a good lap there on the mediums, but I do think it will be beaten. Not saying it's a bad lap, I'm just saying we do have some quick boys in this league. In this track as well, like the likes of Ruthful. I definitely want to be going out sooner or later. Alright, so rounding up the final corner now. Will he be able to scratch out 5 seconds off of his old time? It's not 5 seconds, but it's actually 2 seconds that he puts in provisional P12, which is not a bad lap from the likes of Pandakoi. As we see, whoa, there's an Alfa Romeo sideways there. I believe that is Alfa Romeo of Hazy, who's completely on the middle of the track and on the racing line coming out of the 3 first corners. So we'll go on another lap with KK Hunter, who is not on the lap. Hazy is not on a lap. Who's on the lap? You just set a lap at 137.6. He's going for it again. Ooh, he goes in deep there. That will cost him a bit. But this car and these tires match well together already. And in Singapore, it goes really well with the car, with the lighting and everything. It looks absolutely great. So Ruthful will set a lap, and we will go to him afterwards because he's not too far ahead, or I believe he could be in front. He is in front, so by the time he finishes, Ruthful will be Subware's Sector 2. So far, a pretty clean lap. He was up on his time. Heading into the final corner, he uses a lot of the curb there, but doesn't take the straightest line as well. If he does mess up this lap, he will have another chance of going. But I don't think he has enough ERS to do so. So into hot lap mode, the final corner now, rounding up the final chicane to be a provisional P2 with a 135.7. Not a bad lap at all. But Ruthful, the championship leader now, is on a lap now. I believe this will be the last person we'll see a full lap on. Oh shoot, wait, I just realized Ruthful's on his out lap. Oh my, or no, is he on his out lap? It says on the top right out lap, but then at the left out lap as well. But he's in high and hot lap, so we'll say he's on a lap. I'll have to see what happens, or he might just be running out of time and wanting to get to the end as quickly as possible. But I doubt he'll use that much ERS just to do that. It seems to be a pretty good lap anyways. We'll have to see if he does set at a time or if he's going to set one. Heading through the final corner now. DRS enabled. And he puts it in provisional pole position with a 135.4. So that's Ruthful in provisional pole position for the few times this season. But Wow is actually on another lap. I don't know if he's up or down on his time. But rounding up the final corner now, and he puts it into the pits. Audible Gamer is not on a lap either. Jay Piffy is on a lap though, however, on the soft compound tires. So this should be an easy P1 for the man in the McLaren. Let's take a look here, rounding up the final corner now. I've said that quite a few times, and he doesn't set a lap. He could have set a lap if he wanted to, but he holds back. So, do we have anyone else who's on a lap? Hazy actually is a 10th down on, or up on his time, and I believe he's the last person to set a lap. Actually, no, wait, Maple is rounding up the final corner now. He's 8/10 clear on his time and puts it into P12. So go on with Hazy, who is the last person to set a time. He's 500ths of a second up on his time. He goes in deep there, uses as much as the curb as possible to almost touches the wall. Yeah, we're just waiting on Hazy now, going through the final sector. Very tidy there from the man in the Alfa Romeo, rounding up the final corner with almost no ERS. Puts it into P9. Very good lap from him. So your lineup for the start of the Singapore Grand Prix is as follows. So on the first grid we have Ruthful and GC Fungus. Second grid we have Yasin and the Inaudible Gamer. Third we have Wow and Pixel. Fourth Jay Piffy and Luca. Fifth Hazy, David. Sixth R3 and Maple. Seventh is Almighty and Cosmin. Eighth is Kiki Hunter and Futuristic. Ninth is Vessel and Pankoi. And to round up the final grid we have Polar Haze in P19. This will be interesting to see what tires the people on the bottom of the grid will opt to put. I'd say put on the mediums, because it's just quick and you'll be able to make quicker overtakes. Then on the hards, yes, it will last a bit longer, but you'll be losing time, and we'll have to catch up to the leaders after the pit stops. As we see the pit crew there, the chairs, the tires lining up, the front wings, the pit boxes, all the cables dangling down. So you have the formation lap. Right, as we're about to get underway for the formation lap, and it's lights out, and away we go. Right, so we'll put on all the good stuff. We won't put position change, we'll put the tires and see what everyone's putting. So it looks like the majority of the people 11th and under have opted to put the hard combat tires, except for Futuristic, Almighty, and Maple. Otherwise, the top of the grid, there's only 2 South runners, which are GC Fungus and J Piffy, and the rest are medium runners who are on used tires. So this man definitely knows how to lead a Grand Prix here. He's led a Grand Prix multiple times, and he's won a Grand Prix multiple times as well. So the pressure won't be as harsh on him than people who, don't have experience leading, I guess. Especially here, if you're put under pressure, you can go in deep into a corner, or you can get a bad exit, and that can be your corner done, and be caught up quite easily. So, as Ruthful rounds up the final sector now, pit stop strategy, I'd say at around lap 9 to 11, the medium runners will want to box, and around lap 14 to 16, hard compound runners will box, and I'd say around lap even anything between 4 and 7, these soft compound tires, people will want to box, because those softs are not going to last at all, especially since those are their used qualifying tires. It will be even worse. So, as we have the first person on the grid to line up, if you don't count the people who have been disqualified from the formation lap. See the final person now lining up on the grid there at the back is Fox in the Alfa Romeo. Alright, so here we go for the F1 2019 round 14 Singapore Grand Prix. We have 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go here in the Singapore Grand Prix. Ruthful gets a pretty decent start actually, and Yasin is put under pressure by GC Fungus as they go side by side heading into turn 1. Yasin is forced to go wide, and that's J Piffy on the soft compound tires that has spun towards the back end of the grid. And actually, there's been a 4-car pileup there in between the 2 Toro Rossos and the 2 Alfa Romeos. So very poor start from those sets of teammates. And actually, Luca has passed Pixel heading into the long straight, but Pixel will want to round this move up, though. They're still side by side heading into sector 2, and they will remain side by side here into the deep corner. This usually doesn't really go well, but actually Luca has given up the position and is overtaking David as well, as there's yellow flags towards the back, and I believe that is Cosman who has completely sent one into the wall. So very hectic start, but it's not over yet, as Wow makes it in front of GC Fungus and is now all over the back of the Inaudible Gamer. And actually GC Fungus now wants to get a move on with WoW, because with these self-compound tires, they will be the quickest tire for the first 2-3 laps, but then that's about it. And already we can see traction-wise, WoW is much faster. He shifts down too quickly there. This is the back end, almost hits the wall. Sitting back down the grid. No one seems to be under immense pressure. It's actually Fox is nowhere to be seen. The yellow flag, and I believe that is KK Hunter, who has continued straight and has lost a bit of his front wing. Ruthful sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and Pixel, will he send one down the inside to turn 1? Oh, he just about backs off as GC Fungus stayed on his racing line, which is definitely the right call. As we can see, he's already struggling on those soft compound tires, as his GC Fungus is not getting good traction on these corners, and he's definitely not getting good top speed, because those tires are pleading for mercy as they will go side by side heading into the last corner. And actually, Luca has also shown has also put out the muscles, but GC Fungus stays on the inside, mounts the curb, and David seems to be very lively behind this bunch as well. So it looks like GC Fungus lost 2 positions there in the space of 2 corners. Will might lose a 3rd one here heading into the old Singapore sling, but luckily he backs off because that would have been definitely costly for both drivers here. If he gets a good run, he might be able to send one down the inside, which he does definitely look to it, but he doesn't go for it. Now, will he have better traction? He does have better traction, does have better acceleration, but he is too far away, heading further up the field. It seems to be quite dispersed actually, as Ruth has already had a 1.5 second, or 1.3 second gap to Yasin, and then behind that is the top 2 are 2.4 seconds away from the rest of the field. Heading back down the grid, Cosman now will really have to hope for a safety car now, because yeah, it won't go his way if he continues. Heading down the grid, will we see anyone put under pressure? No, but DRS is enabled, and I think these two will definitely fight it out, as WoW will want to see himself up on the podium. ASAP heading into the DRS straight. He doesn't get a good exit, but he does get a good run on him. Will he send one down the inside? No, but he brakes much later and is almost pushing him around these corners. There's a yellow flag, and that's Cosman, who's actually retired from this session, who's continued straight there. That could be a potential safety car, or even a VSC. Yes, it's a VSC. It's not a safety car, but it is a VSC, enough to slow the pack down, and enough to get a good restart. Now, something that people might be able to exploit is actually, if you're watching this and you didn't know, in the VSC, if you do, or once it says VSC ending, you can floor it and continue racing, basically. Even though your delta might be -3 seconds, -4 seconds, even -10 seconds, it won't count. But that, don't take my word on that, because I've done it multiple times. When I see VSC ending, I just floor it and you know, get the better of my opponents. But there are some times, there's only happened to me once, where it's given me a drive-through penalty, which is very unfortunate. But it is there in the game, so if you want to take the risk, feel free to do it. But I personally don't think it's worth the risk anymore after I've got the drive-through penalty. I've never done it ever again, although I've been tempted to and accidentally have done it. It's definitely not the right call to do. So WoW is very much all over the back of the Inaudible Gamer, who will want to get the move done as soon as possible, because he's practically pushing these corners, exiting the first 2-3 corners. And around the DRS straight, will he have the better? DRS is enabled. The two Renaults, oh my god, he's almost pushing him down the straight, but they will run side by side. And the Inaudible Gamer still hangs around the outside of WoW. He brakes later. And the Inaudible Gamer seems to have defended his position quite nicely. Ooh, almost hitting the wall, Pixel does. But WoW really needs to get past the Inaudible Gamer. He is blocking him from his provisional P2, if he does ever want to get a P2. Actually, they're almost side by side heading into here. Ooh, and there's a bit of contact actually there. He continues straight, but his teammate Pixel now and the Red Bull of Luca can very much see these two battling. Oh, WoW is braking very, very late, and the Inaudible Gamer almost getting punted towards the rear. It's braking much later WoW than the Inaudible Gamer, so I don't know what's exactly going on, but there definitely is something to be seen. Actually, there's a yellow flag, and that's Jay Piffy, who has retired from the session. Oh, that's his tire completely gone in the middle of the circuit. That will be a safety car. Surely, it's only a VSC. That is only a VSC? A car stranded on the middle of the track without his wheel on the racing line is only a virtual safety car. Mad. So GC Fungus will have a free pit stop, which is great for him, as everyone is going slowly, and he just gets a free pit stop. I don't know if Hazy will have the same effect, but I definitely do know GC Fungus, as he comes out, it will be as if nothing has happened. So he comes out now. VSC is still underway, so he's really lost almost little to no time, and there you go. It's basically a free pit stop there from GC Fungus, so very good for him. He didn't lose that much time. Let's see the position here at the front. The WoW is still very much on the Inaudible Gamer. He's getting very unlucky because the only chances he can overtake, he's being forced to slow down due to VSCs. So no safety cars, but we have two VSCs now. Will he go for a big boy move down the inside? No, he doesn't. He's not a big boy. He's being very, very cautious, which is very good. But the Inaudible Gamer seems to be getting good exits out of corners. He's going in slow in, fast out, which is good, and while he's going in quick in and medium out, I guess if you could say that. My green host is actually Maple, I believe, has left the session. So the Inaudible Gamer seems to be very vulnerable going through Sector 3, and that's when WoW catches up. So if WoW could just focus on getting a good exit around here, that will be very good, but he doesn't get the best of exits. But with the aid of DRS, he will be catching up. The Inaudible Gamer goes semi-defensive heading into this corner, but I think if WoW stays just as close as he currently is to the Inaudible Gamer, he should get a pretty easy move heading into Sector 2. So rounding the final corner before the long straight, DRS is activated. We're not getting a good angle at all, so we'll stay on board. The Inaudible Gamer goes defensive, and WoW goes round the outside. He doesn't make the move stick again. He's getting pushed off wide, and therefore the Inaudible Gamer will keep the position in front. And I don't know what exactly is going on, but they're on 2-minute lap times currently. WoW is in 9th, Ruthful's in 6th. This is just madness. So we won't figure. Oh, he's going through him, and he's hit the wall. PG-18, guys. Okay, that happened. Server issues currently right now, or lobby issues, not server issues. Is currently. Oh, he's. I don't know what's happening. This is not good. They're going inside of each other. This is terrible. So the Inaudible Gamer loses 2 positions due to lag, and is actually disconnected from this session. As he hasn't disconnected, he's just ghosted. So it seems like everything's going back to normal now, as they're setting 3-minute lap times. This is crazy. So WoW in P3, and Yasin's actually disconnected in P2. Is Ruthful still alive? He is, but Yasin is this is very confusing. We're losing, but WoW is in P8. He spun, and he's lost his wheel actually. What has happened there? What on earth is going on for this lobby? So WoW is out of this session, and Futuristic as well is just completely mounted and gone wide. A lot of people are going through each other and taking phase of action. I don't know if this will mean a lobby restart, but Pandakoi has lost his wheel in the middle of the track. The GC or Almighty has lost a wheel now again. I'm going to check exactly what is happening. So a lot of people have crashed and are out. A virtual safety car. No clue what on earth is going on here. Oh, well, rip. We're restarting the whole lobby. Sorry, guys. Right. Okay, we'll put starting soon, and we'll be back once we're back. So, going to be restarting the whole race, which is good. Okay, looks like this isn't working again. So we'll be back once it's done. One sec. Right. We are back. And we're back with the full 50% race. If the server does crash one more time, I won't be able to stream the whole bit of it, but we'll have to see what exactly happens. Right, so as we have the lights going up on the screen now for the second time, we have 4 lights, 5 lights. It's lights out, and away we go, and we already have a drive-through penalty, and Yasin is getting a pretty decent start as well, and David actually overtaking a few drivers. And will we have carnage at the back again? Yes, we will. The Williams and Alfa Romeo there spinning out, and it's carnage towards the back end, but it turns out everything seems to be good. Pixel already trying to make up a few positions once again. Wasn't a P4 last time around. KK Hunter gives the position away as we have a few drivers there going back and forth, and actually we have a driver there driving through someone. So wow, back into P5, then P3 last time. The Inaudible Gamer seems to have gained the most position, David, sorry, has gained the most positions, and there's a yellow flag. That's the Williams vessel that is out, and we have a safety car. Pixel getting a 5-second penalty, corner cutting, as Pixel getting the ultimate number of penalties. So speeding under the safety car or vessel. It's crazy. People are leaving the session. Very unfortunate, really. Due to personal reasons, well, I might not be able to stream the whole thing, but I'll have to see. Going in, while losing almost a Fox receives a 5-second time penalty for exceed track limits. Wait, 10-second time penalty now for exceeding track limits. Safety car's not in this lap, but it will be in entering lap 4. car will most likely be in this lap. The whole pack is closed up except for the Mercedes there of GC Fungus. It's actually lost so many positions. There are 15 positions since the start of this race. Everyone's on the mediums except for 3 runners. Safety car is in this lap. Right, and we're underway now for the Singapore Grand Prix for the 3rd time today. If we have another safety car, I will personally yeet my phone out the window. So Luke actually makes up a position, gets squeezed out there into the wall. There's already a yellow flag as someone's retired in the pits there. There's no incidents game, so no need to put a VS seat in the freaking pit lane. You better not pull off a freaking safety car. Yellow flags. David goes for a big boy send on the back of Luca there. Has to cut the corner. Going back down the grid, actually, Almighty has made up a position to Jay Piffy. Seems like a lot of people have it. As well, actually, who was in P3 last time, is retired from the session. So I'd say a lot of people won't be happy with what happened at today's race. A lot of people were in good positions, and some people were doing bad, like for example, well, not necessarily bad, but you know, worse off than others, like Guggenheim on the beginning was losing positions last race, and now is finding himself in a comfortable P2. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, entering lap 5 now, almost where we were last time. We'd be around lap 20, I'd say, by now if we were to continue last time, but that would come due to issues. They built a new hoster, I think, pretty sure. Further back down the grid, seems to be a big gap in between P8 and P7. Someone's actually put into the pits of the vessel. JP on the move. GC Fungus, who is making up positions right, left, and center. Good boy. Keep it up. Once again making that gap count and extending that gap every lap. 1.7 seconds, almost 2 seconds. But he's not far. He can still, the Honorable Gamer can still very much see persons in P2. Go back down the grid, see if there's anything exciting. It's a 5-car train here. With KK Hunter being the lead of it, then Fox, and Almighty, then Jay Piffy. She's Fungus actually, next to all. but this mostly leads through the tents within each other. Both go wide there, KK Hunter and Fox. Actually, Fox gets a mega run with those medium combat tires and sees himself into P11. One more place and he's in the points finish. Actually, I believe Almighty, sent one down the inside. They're going to run side by side. Who gets the DRS? It looks like KK Hunter will. Oh, they're still running side by side, and they touch, and that's KK Hunter sent spinning around. You saw that coming from a mile away. I'm going side by side there. Very unfortunate for him, as his right end plate is completely gone. That's right wing damage, I'd say. Almighty getting a move done on Jay Pithy as I go up towards one. Other than that, it seems like it's pretty even field so far. And we could be able to get a move on. No, he won't. Yesin seems to be very lively on the back of the Inaudible Gamer. So Luke is getting got a 3-second time penalty for that's going wide there. Unfortunate stuff. So Ruthful with a 2.2 second gap to P2, which should be a pretty comfortable win if it stays like this. So the Inaudible Gamer now is under serious pressure from two very quick boys, Yesin and Luca. They're going to want to get a move done on the Inaudible Gamer as soon as possible if they want to have a chance at catching up to Ruthful. Luca takes a really risky and tight line there. The old Singapore sling, and actually David has spun, or hasn't spun, just kept going straight. Is retired on track. Polar haze around Zabel, and that's almost contact with the Mercedes driver, and currently right now his AI is kind of going everywhere, and there's a virtual safety car to top that off. So David has left the session. Luca's being let by. Interesting. Oh, Yesin almost hits the back of Luca as there's a restart, and Yesin gets a mega restart off the line. He's put himself into P2. So very good stuff there from the Yesin, very lively on the restart as well. Luca very lively behind the back of Luca, or behind the back of Yesin. He's definitely not happy that he got that move done. So Luca seems to be very quick in sectors 1. 2 seems to be dying off a bit. Sorry for all the pains there, lovely. Oh, Luca almost losing the back end entirely there. And that could have been very bad for him indeed. But he will have DRS heading into his back straight, so all he needs to do, all he needs to do is focus on the exit. The exit gets a really poor one actually. Luca will be very much in danger. Stays around the outside, but he doesn't. Oh, he taps the back, and Yasin loses the back end and almost hits the wall, but luckily he doesn't, and Luca lets him by. It's some good sportsmanship, and actually R3 almost cut the position thanks to that. Luca will want to get a clean move now on Yasin after that incident. Entering lap 10, another 21 to go. Sounds depressing to say that when the race could have been over now, but you know, technical issues. It's a very unstable game server-wise. Hopefully F1 2020 will be different. I've spent 70 euros on it, or not 70, I spent 62 euros, and I really hope that it doesn't do it. It doesn't do like this much damage that it does. But Luca once again very much staying behind close proximity to Yasin, and will want to get the move done as soon as possible. Yasin losing the back end. Luca will try to get a switch back, but it doesn't work out in his favor. Now all he has to do is get a good launch here, which Yasin gets a mega launch off the corner. But Luca, thanks to DRS, will be in very good contention of overtaking as he does a dummy down the inside and goes down the inside, and they touch tires, and Yasin once again almost getting spun out, but he stays on the inside. They touch, but Yasin brakes so he doesn't get spun out, and that's Luca up into P2 with 10 seconds to Ruthful. Ruthful just enjoying clean air and no battling like there's no tomorrow. The Ruthful should easily win this race if he keeps his head down and win once again. So that Luca in P1, actually Hazy seems to be very close to R3 right now. Almighty actually gets a move done. There's a side-by-side there going into turn 1. Sorry if I'm quiet. But two Mercedes boys versus one Haas boy. I think the Haas boy should get the move done. And down the inside, GC Fungus goes on Polar Haze, and it looks like to be a pretty good move. Polar Haze sniffs the inside, but it's not good. Oh, and Almighty actually taps the wall. That is some wing damage. He does have some damage on his front left wing, or does he? I think he does. We have a bad angle now, but I believe that tap to the wall is enough to get at least somewhat some damage. We'll have to figure out. And I see as time goes on, but once again, has he on the back of R3. Losing the back end there heavily. He's entering lap 12 already. R3 puts it into the pits along with other drivers. Trying to get a view on R3 there. Gets out, doesn't get held up. Luca might get a bit held up. No, he doesn't. Luca coming out, and Polar's getting a 3-second time penalty. So Ruthful will box this lap, I'd say, and should come out in P3. So really, he won't lose any time. He'll lose little to no time, if anything. Which is quite remarkable, as Yasin takes a really awkward line there going into the old Singapore sling. The Ruthful pits, but Yasin stays out. So Ruthful will try and get an undercut on P2. Really, I think he'll come out in P3, I think. Unless if he comes out in a bit of traffic, which he might, and if he does, that will be very bad for him. So Ruthful going, okay, he'll come out behind the two Merc boys. Being put under pressure, and that's the McLaren of J. Piffy losing the back end there, almost going into the wall. Ruthful on fresh hards will want to get past GZ Fungus and Almighty as quickly as possible, because they will be a bit of a roadblock, and really right now these two these two Mercedes drivers are really the savior of Yasin and Hazi. They want to come out in front. Have to see what happens, but I highly doubt it because they're only roughly 15 seconds behind the leader. Still braking much later, definitely, because he has the tire grip, he has the tire wear, he has everything he needs. Just needs to get past these guys. Oh, he goes for a late move down the inside, but he brakes just late enough to avoid contact. So the top two will want to box as soon as possible. There's a yellow flag. Not sure who it is or what it was. Getting the rev glitch again, which is not great. But Yasin and Hazi are still going out and still staying out. These two boys, these two Mercedes guys are still staying out as well. So Ruthful will get held up quite a bit now. Yeah. As the two Mercedes boys go side by side, and Almighty and JC Fungus afterwards. He rejoins on track in the middle of the track, and Polar Hayes gets in front now. And this is very bad news for Ruthful because he did lock up quite heavily, meaning that will cost him a bit of tire grip and tire wear towards the end, and allowed Hazy and Yasin to get in front quite a bit. Polar Haze goes in deep, and Ruthful, will he go for a move? Down the inside, yes he does, he breaks much later. And Polar Haze forced to give that one in. And Yasin is still not going into the pits, nor is Hazy, so interesting tactics here, but even if they do box, Ruthful will be in front, maybe not by much, but by 10 or so seconds. Move, Vessel is actually overtaken Futuristic or Almighty in the pits due to his spin. GC Fungus seems to have kept going. It's a place where they've spun a lap prior to this. So will Yasin and Hazy go into the pit? So Yasin is still staying out. Hazy as well, still staying out on these 15 lap old tires. Will they be going to the softs towards the end? I don't know, but this is a death territory practically. Ruthful will have a major gap on these two. GC Fungus on a move on J Piffy, heading into the first set of corners. J Piffy goes wide there, loses the back end. Might be under pressure from his teammate there. An audible gamer who started quite high off the grid, but now has found himself at the P8. And again did do his pit stop. Goes down the inside of his teammate, and that's Polar Haze, who's completely sideways, exiting the chicane. Comes back on track with R3, overtaking him, and Polar Haze into the wall! He just saw that coming. So, he's having issues going into reverse now. He's managed to put it into reverse. Off he goes with a very big amount of wing damage. Vessel will sees points in front of him and will get points in front of him because Polar Haze with wing damage, especially around Singapore, you're not going to have any pace whatsoever. Polar Haze tries to get a good exit, but can't really do anything against people who doesn't have wing damage. You also slower on a straight line because it adds more downforce to your car. That's why you get so much understeer. And Yasin and Hazy still going out. I don't know if that accidentally just came over me, but no, they're definitely trying something out here, and it seems to be working out a bit. There's R3 now, they will run side by side heading into turn 1. Oh, he brakes much later. Doesn't lock up, so that's a good move, and you could tell he definitely has ABS off. So it seems to be pretty quiet now, but Ruthful is already making some progress on the back of these two, only 8 seconds behind. So these two have yet to box. From what I can tell, I'd say they're probably going to go on to softs towards the end of the race. I mean, it's honestly the only thing I can see now. The yellow flags in Sector 3. There's a virtual safety car. As 2 people go into the pits, they will barely lose any time. 2 people in the pits. The GC Fungus is pretty piffy now. Going on to the hards. They practically won't lose any time now, which is decent. Ooh, Hazy losing the back end there. So will the top 2 box for the hard compound tires when Ruthful actually has made a storm of a catch-up now. Is 4 seconds behind. He's basically caught up the amount of time he's lost at the pit stop to these guys. So Ruthful now can see them, so can these 2. So unless if they have fresh super softs, or softs that could take them to the end, there's no way I can see them catching up. I even think these 2 are going to come out in, around the P6, P7 area, which is a big F for them. Yellow's in Sector 2, and that's actually Luca who's spun. He's managed to make it out now. If there was a safety car, either Yes and Hazy will be in heaven. Ruthful can see these 2, the 2 that boxed. That well, when he boxed, there was like a 15-second gap. Now he's managed to catch that gap up to 2 seconds. Which is just incredible. You can see how much the tire wear really does matter in this game. So will the top 2 box? That's the big question. Will they box? Or will they stay out another lap and risking overtaking? They stay out one more time. They're going to stay out, I don't know until when. I don't know what kind of strategy they have under plan. But currently right now Ruthful is back into P2 and can see P1 right in front of him, meaning that basically it's acting as if there hasn't been a pit stop, and he's basically on fresher tires magically. Yasin pushing, or not Yasin, Ruthful pushing Yasin through now. The yellow's in Sector 2, so if there's a VSC now, he'd be into P1. Ruthful is in P1 with fresh tires. The 2 people behind him still need to box. Ruthful has definitely, I'd say, if he keeps it like this, has 100% won the Grand Prix. Unless if there's a safety car which can ruin his race, and I feel like it will be devastating for him, even if he does win in having the safety car there. After such a dominant victory, it would just be sad for him. But the 2 behind, I honestly don't know what strategy they're on. I don't know if they're going to mediums to softs or mediums to hards, because I'd say mediums to hards now would be a waste. I'd say you want to go onto the softs by now. But no, these 2 definitely, they're in puncture territory. I'd say they've probably been in puncture territory for the past few laps now. We'll have to see exactly what goes through their mind, but I think whoever blinks first in between these 2 will definitely be the man who comes out in front of the other, even if it's Yasin who boxes in front of He'll still come in front and vice versa. So sectors in 3, and that's Hazy who spun actually, who's lost the back end, who will be forced to pit. Sorry, he'll be forced to pit this lap. He's losing the back end everywhere. His tires are pleading for mercy now. That's what you would expect. And he goes into the pits now. So he does, and he gets himself a wing change, and it is the soft compound of tires that he is going to be using. So good stuff from, I really wouldn't say good stuff, I'd say, you know, very unfortunate stuff, but he is on the soft compound tires, and he will be setting lightning quick laps. Ruth already a few seconds up ahead of the second place of Yasin. And now it's just a waiting game, basically. Fortunate stuff for Hazy, because he was in contention of, you know, top 5 maybe coming out of the pits. But now, yeah, it's basically done and dusted. Yells in sector 2. Is that Yasin? Yes, no, Yasin's actually in the pits. I don't know what the sector yells are. Still don't know what the yells are. Oh, this vessel is going wide there, and Almighty getting the move done. There's still yells in sector 2, and I can't see on the minimap who it is. I think it's just a visual glitch. In sector 3 now. Oh, and actually that's not just a glitch. That's a Red Bull. That's Luca, who's retired from the session. Don't know what happened. Either he had a puncture or he was going very slowly, but we'll never know. Let's see if there's any debris on the track to suggest that. No, there's nothing. So with 10 laps to go of this Grand Prix, so entering this lap of 23 to 31, seems to be that Yasin came out actually in P6, should easily catch up to GC Fungus, and I'd say that might be it. You never know. And Ruth for 15 seconds ahead, and he is on fresher tires than these two, so he will pull out even more. I'd say this probably will be a dominant victory. And R3 round the outside of the Inaudible Gamer, who gives him just enough room, but he won't be able to hang it around. And as he sets the quickest lap of the, or Hazy, sorry, sets the quickest lap of the 138.8, or was it 3? I don't know, I didn't see properly. So go further back down the grid. We have Yasin on the back of GC Fungus. Yasin might go for a send down the inside. No. But top 5 is looking very likely for him. Maybe if he keeps up this pace, he might finish P4. As he yells at sector 2, I'm trying to find out who that is. I believe it was the Alfa Romeo Fox. Kiki Hunter coming out the pits now with his new soft compound tires. I'd say he'll want to go for a fastest lap. And penalty-wise, I don't know exactly how the penalties are. I think it might just be a bit more exciting to see them towards the end of the Grand Prix when everyone crosses around and see what goes on. But Yasin should be able to get the move done down the inside now. GC Fungus cuts and uses the racing line. But GC Fungus, I'd say, should lose the position down this straight. As well, softs versus 15 lap old mediums, there's just nothing you can do about it. So down the inside, GC Fungus goes Yasin pretty easily. Oh, actually no, GC Fungus got a good run, and I wanted to go down the outside, but no. So GC Fungus will stay close to Yasin, I'd say. Maybe a play drags him with the DRS. Currently right now it seems like he'll get out of his DRS after the first few corners here, because it's just the traction is just completely sublime compared to these 15 lap old mediums. Coming out this corner, we'll just see that traction. So you can see Yasin already long gone, his tags are already starting to disappear. That's when you can tell that you're just nearing the 1 second mark. So stay up with the front or with people that are close to contention. So these two are the closest in the whole field to the next car in front. Otherwise, it's the average is 4 seconds. It's 4 seconds. I'd say the average, the total average, definitely even 5 or 6. I'd probably say the total average, if you add everything up and divide it all by 14, will be 7 or 8, because you know all these 20, 10s, 7, 8, 9s, and you have a few 4s and a few under the 10s. But already that 1 second gap between GC Fungus and Yasin is already fading away. It's almost at 1 second already. But these two, that always taps the wall there, R3. I'd say R3 will want to get the move done on the Honorable Gamer to make it a 1-2 for Racing Point, because there will be some good constructor standing points, and also, you know, driver championship points. But I believe if Ruthful wins this race and next race, he should be able to win it in Japan, if not in Mexico, which is very, very dominant for him. Already winning when it's not the last race of the calendar is dominant, but when you win it, when it's more than 2 or 3 races, it's very, very dominant. Or, yeah, because I know myself, I've won the championship here in Singapore because the person in second place left the league because they couldn't race anymore, and the person in third place was at 60 points when he was like at 220 something. So all I had to do was finish on top of the points of him. I did, and I won the championship at Singapore. So now it's yeah. So enough with me. Back to the race. Sorry. R3 seems to be losing touch with the Honorable Gamer, although he has fresher tires by, I believe it is 4 laps. Yeah, 4 laps fresher tires. But the Honorable Gamer seems to have a high downforce. Ooh, it goes very wide there at 3. And I think the Honorable Gamer has a high downforce setup, meaning sectors 3 are like very easy sectors for him to navigate through, but he's just barely, I don't know how he's in the thing, he's a second behind. If it was automated like in real life, he definitely wouldn't have it now. But I think one thing that would be cool for next season is just have the DRS automated. I know it might be a little trickier when it comes to programming, but just have it so like that if you're not within a second, regardless if you know if you're 1 second or not, or if you're over 1 second, like at the line, if you're not 1 second, you know, you don't get it, because here he was at a second, like 1.001 second or something, and he still got DRS. So I don't know, it might be a little bit cooler just to see that little beep go up by itself, being automated just like in real life. So that's I guess one thing less we have to think about going down the straights, you know, having to manually push it, but I'm not acting lazy or anything, but it just will be cool. And also maybe have a tweak on ERS, because I feel like although it's cool to have that you can manage how quick you go and stuff, and a lot of people are complaining it says R3 gets a 3-second time penalty there. I think the problem with the current ERS system is that you need to constantly change it. Like, you can't go a corner in a race, especially without changing it one bit. Like, even like here, he was in high, now he goes into none. Coming out of this corner, he'll tweak it back up to probably medium or high, and then down the straight, he'll probably go into overtake or something. You know, it's just, it takes your mind off fully concentrating on racing than it does with he hits the wall there. That might be a bit of his front. That is a bit of his front wing guy, as you can see it rolling back there. That will be some orange front wing damage, so very unfortunate stuff for him. But yes, and might actually get himself a podium, because he's only 4 seconds behind, and he does have 6 seconds worth of time penalties on 3. I don't know about Yasin, but as I said, we'll have to find out afterwards. As there's some fighting going on at the back here for P5. So with ERS, I think at the beginning of the lap, just say, okay, I want to get in front of the person in front, you know, it automatically does everything in front, so it like overtake mode the whole lap, and you don't lose that much ERS. And you know, if you want to go reservative, it puts you in a mix of high and none. And if you want to go full push, or if you want to go, you know, like medium mode, it goes medium and high, and you know, stuff like that, maybe to make it a bit more easy. Because I know in F1 2017, all you had was your fuel to manage, and we have a safety car. Oh no, Ruthful. I jinxed it. I completely jinxed it. Ruthful now in a terrible position, because that gives R3 a free pit stop. Not Gamer chooses to stay out. Yasin will box in for a new set of softs. Maple stays out. Fungus stays out. Almighty will most likely go into the pits, because I'd say, like, honestly, go for it. Like, although truck position might be a bit better after safety car, you know, you can't really do anything. So it's very unfortunate for Ruthful, because it would have been a very dominant lead and a very dominant win. But you know, if he just hangs around the front, he could still very much win at this race. But I feel like if he pits, he will come out in front of the Inaudible Gamer. I'm not sure, because he is 20 seconds behind. But regardless, he'll come out behind him with fresher tires. So I'd say, Ruthful, if you're listening to me now, box for the softs, because you know you literally have nothing left to lose. If anything, will come out before or after the Inaudible Gamer, who is in P2 with 20 lap old mediums. He'll most likely box in if you box in, so you know you have the optimal pace. I feel like I'm talking to myself here, which I probably am. He's probably not even tuned into the stream, but if you are, box. Thing through final corners. Will we see? I honestly think he should box, because look at all those soft tire compound people there on the bottom left. It will be very challenging for him to keep up, especially with all the amount of cars behind. And he chooses to stay out. Oh no. Oh no. This is bad. Because if the Inaudible Gamer boxes and Maple and GC Fungus and Almighty decide to follow, it'll be a full softs lineup with only Ruth at the top, and actually Fox. Shouldn't forget about Fox, sorry. So the Inaudible Gamer chooses to stay out as well. Maple, I'd say, will stay out as well. He stays out. GC Fungus stays out. Will Almighty stay out? He stays out as well. So the top 5 on old compound tires. So really, Ruthful now has to hope the 4 drivers behind him hold up Ruthful, because I'd say safety car will be in entering lap 30, even entering the final lap. Because look at how dispersed the current situation is on the mini map. Sorry for the Discord spams, but yeah. Right. Nelson gets a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Right. Is safety car in this lap? Safety car is in this lap. Oh. That's something I wasn't expecting. So Hopefield now is has yet to catch up, and they're all on fresh softs. So I don't know if it was a good thing for them to box or not. But now Ruthville has to defend. Oh, Ruthville has a very bad start now and actually pushes the Inaudible Gamer wide, and he tried braking to try and catch him off. But if anything, he's caught himself off going around, and there's side by side the two Mercedes junior team, I guess, of Williams and Mercedes Benz. Not junior team, what am I on about? The two same Mercedes engineers. But, so the Inaudible Gamer seems to be very lively now in the back of Ruthville on the second to last lap here. This is indeed some very spicy stuff and very interesting. Will the Inaudible Gamer make the move stick on the back of him? The yellows, that's Fox entering the pits. So I'd say go on these soft compound tires. Oh, no, he's up. His AI card, though, however, has put on the softs. And will continue, I'd say. So heading on to the final lap, Audible Gamer has lost touch of Ruthful. So I'd say Ruthful should easily get this win in the bag. Right, so heading down the final few corners, or final couple sectors I should say, the yellow flag, and that's Almighty, or not Almighty, GC Fungus, who's lost the back end or has been spun, but he still has his front wing, so it's fine. Plays retires in 11th place. Ruthville now actually catching up to a bit of traffic of Ruthville, or Fox, sorry. Will it be enough though to hold him up? Right, so Ruthville, honestly, I applaud Ruthville for this amazing race. He boxed for hards 15 seconds. Yasin and Hazy were, sorry. He managed to catch up, make that gap count, to extend it to 22 seconds. Safety car didn't scare him one bit as he rounds the final corner to take victory in Singapore. Unless if he has time penalties. No, he doesn't. He wins the Grand Prix on track and keeps it. So R3 couldn't make it a 1-2 for Racing Port, but he finishes in P6 nonetheless. P7 actually, with all the time penalties. So there's your podium. Ruthful in first, the Inaudible Gamer second, and Maple in third, followed by Yatsen, Almighty, GC Bungus, R3, Heady, G Piffy, SOR, Futuristic, Vessel, Fox, and KK Hunter. Whoa, will Vessel even be able to finish the Grand Prix? We need to find out. That's the corner. He has nothing left to lose anyways. He's in P11. That's the final corner now. Will he be able to get points? No. Now we're just waiting on the AI of Fox to round up the final corner. Oh, it's not the AI of Fox. Sorry, no, it is Fox. He left and rejoined. Will he get a fastest lap? He does get the fastest lap. So that's him with the fastest lap. Something to take from this race, I guess. There you go, your podium finishers. It's been a splendid race from Racing Point today. Here are the Singapore Grand Prix. Number 22, Ruthful. So that's been quite a hectic race, technical side and racing side. First of all, with a very dominant race. Congratulations to him. Also, congratulations to the Inaudible Gamer, who got a second chance after getting a poor start at the first race. And also Maple on one of his very few podiums. So thank you all for tuning in. That's been me, Justin, at this Singapore Grand Prix. Hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.